I gotta read a few words here before we start. And I'd like to inform everyone that Sean Driscoll, the authority's communication director, is making an audio and video recording of today's meeting. If anyone else is making audio and video recording of today's meeting, please identify yourself by pressing the raise hand icon on the Zoom dashboard, or if you're joining by telephone, by pressing *9 on your keypad. And when you are recognized, please state your name for the record. Anybody?
I don't have anybody.
Okay. Excuse me. And do we have anybody for remote?
We do not. Oh, well, yes, actually, all of you are remote. I'm sorry.
We all are, yeah. All right, so this is going to be pursuant to section 20 of chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021 as amended. Board members are participating remotely in today's meeting because their physical attendance today would be unreasonably difficult. Board members are participating in the meeting by the Zoom video conference app, and all members will be clearly audible to each other. I assume that's true. As a result, these members revoke participation in this meeting, and any and all votes taken by members today shall be by roll call vote. And we have everybody but Maura. Rob Rennie, Jim Milkins, Mark Arneson, Peter Jeffries, and George Keneally, and myself, Robert Jones. Any staff you want to add to that, Rob?
Well, we're in the bond here at the administration building, and besides myself, we have Mark Higgins and Mark Rosen.
Okay. So we're ready to sail.
Alrighty, so thank you for coming together today. Before you is a request, we're requesting a vote of the members to authorize the general manager to award contract number 19-2022-C, motor vessel conversion, freight deck extension, associated machinery overhauls, dry docking and overhaul services for the MV Monomoy. This would be to the lowest eligible and responsible bidder, Alabama Shipyard of Mobile, Alabama, for a total contract price of $17 million. Similar to, back in April of 2023, we received proposals from Alabama Shipyard to modify the Barnstable and Aquina. As part of that contract, there was an option for up to 2 additional contracts to be negotiated and awarded for the Monomoy. So the conversion package that we have for the Monomoy is very similar to what we had for the Barnstable and Aquina. It's to modify the vessel's length, to modify the sterns, or matches up with a transfer bridge and fendering, to add additional structural subdivision bulkheads, so that way the vessel can be reclassed as a subchapter H vessel, so we don't have the passenger cutoffs that we would have had otherwise. We're increasing the width of the vessel by adding the sponsons on both sides. There's additional work, new fuel tanks, passenger area, modifications to the crew areas, updating the HVAC equipment. As part of this, we're also going to be overhauling the bow and stern thrusters and upgrading those to environmental acceptable lubricants or EAL system. It'll include blasting and coating of the vessel, the superstructure, overhaul the main engines. And we're also looking, this is something that we've been, it's come up in the last month or two, that this vessel, along with its sister vessels, have Caterpillar main engines, and they're tier 2 compliant. It turns out that Caterpillar has a conversion kit that we could convert these engines to tier 4 compliant, so we're looking to be doing that as well. With the other contracts, we did not have that because part of this is that we're looking to, the engine hours on the Monomoy are a little bit more than what we're on the Barnstable and Aquina. So we need to do main engine overhauls on that vessel. And since we're doing the main engine overhaul, we're looking at it and thinking it makes sense to then be able to do the upgrade, because we would have to be doing that anyways. So the items differ from the previous contract. So the previous contract was $13.6 million approximately. The main differences, there's about a list of 8 or 9 items. The biggest one being the docking and undocking of the vessel. So on the Barnstable and Aquina, that docking and undocking charge was $1,570,000. For the Monomoy, it's $3,078,000. It's essentially close to the same cost. It's just that they were able to split the cost between 2 vessels before, because they did them both at the same time. The coatings of the deck and superstructure have gone up by a little over $90,000. We have shaft and bearings increases of $270,000.
Yeah, just like to add in that we did not draw the shafts, as they were not due on the Barnstable and Aquina. That is the price differential because of that.
We have an increase in some structural fire protection that needs to be done. We are including it as the 24-foot mid-body that we did with the other vessels. Exhaust system piping and generator ventilations are all included. So when this bid package was put together, and those items in total come to about $3.1 million out of the $3.4 million in changes between the two. As part of the bid package, when it was sent to Alabama Shipyard, it included a number of items that we had already incurred change orders for on the Barnstable and Aquina, so those have been incorporated into the bid package is one thing. But there is some change orders since that time that we've incurred, and we anticipate that they'll, those items total about $1 million at this point. So we anticipate going forward that will be something that will be incurring on this as well. But it falls well within the contingency that the same contingency factor that we use for the Barnstable and Aquina. So and we had engaged the services of two naval architects, Bristol Harbor Group of Bristol, Rhode Island, and Elliott Bay Design Group of Seattle, Washington. They both prepared an analysis of what they would anticipate that bid package to cost out, using a Gulf market rate and an East Coast market rate. So the Elliott Bay analysis, they're using a charge out rate of $75 an hour. The Bristol Harbor is at 75 if it's in the Gulf, and 85 if it's on the East Coast. So Bristol Harbor's estimated this to be just slightly under $20 million for the bid package if it was in the Gulf, and 21.4 million if it's on the East Coast, including a contingency. Elliott Bay, meanwhile, added at 22.8 million if it's down in the Gulf. So this this package is coming in within, within those parameters. We also engaged the services of Elliott Bay Design Group to do an analysis of what they're seeing in the shipyard, in the shipping industry, shipbuilding industry, which is included in your packet. In a sense, they're saying that, based on the shipbuilding producer price index over the past 15 months, they've seen an increase of 18% in the cost for in the shipbuilding industry. So they're still impacted by supply chain, labor shortages, power insurance and overhead charges. So the shipbuilding industry price index has gone up considerably more than what the consumer price index is, so at the time. So we do have a late item to mention on this. So as we're exploring the Tier 4 conversion package, we were just informed that there's a far more lengthy lead time on getting the equipment that's needed. I think 34 weeks was the number that that was provided to us. So we're looking at that. There may be an opportunity. It still falls within the timeline of the project, but we're looking at options on that. So we're proposing, for this purposes, that we'd be looking at seeking the board to authorize the award of the $17 million contract. And we'll be coming back at next month's meeting on a recommendation regarding the Tier 4. The Tier 4 portion of this was included in the owner furnished equipment piece that's included in your package. And we'll be working with the shipyard to see if maybe that can be incorporated in the shipyard contract as a modification to that contract, to try to expedite this sum. But we won't know. Again, we just found out that this lead time was far more extensive than we had anticipated. So still impacted by supply chain, and I think Mark A or Mark H can talk more about that.
Yeah, I think you're still seeing, and that was part of the Elliott Bay report on shipyard availability. I think you'll see a portion in there as well about supply chains still being an issue for yards here in the United States, and extensive lead times on critical components.
Yeah, just like to add also that in part of the item number 30H exhaust system that went up from 94,000 to 625,000. This SCR system will be incorporated into that exhaust system. So rather than have this done at a later date, this is the opportune time to get this installed.
Mark, why was such a dramatic increase?
One of the in that costing, what we had done, we moved the exhaust stack further back as a result of the mid body to get a better angle in from our trucks, and that's really the differential cost in the Aquina Barnstable versus the Monomoy is the extension of the exhaust system further aft. We would have had an obstruction with the stacks and impacting the turn ratios of the trucks coming on board.
Thank you.
So I think staff still is will be seeking to have the Tier 4 system upgrade made as part of our some of our climate goals in terms of reductions. And I don't know whether the board like any details regarding we're going to be the vessels that this vessel will replace is effectively a Tier 0 engine. We'd be going to a tier 2 as it is, but this would make it a tier 4. And I think Mark has some numbers here, if you'd like to explain, where those, what the benefits are.
So on a Caterpillar 3516, you're looking from going from tier 2 to tier 4. When we did the OSV study with Elliott Bay, you're looking at a NOx reduction of around 60 metric tons to 20 metric tons, and from PM from 1,600 kilograms per year down to about 300. So you're looking at a 3x and a 4x improvement in that, as well as about a anywhere from a 5 to 9% reduction in fuel usage by going to tier 4.
So PM stands for particulate matter.
Further questions?
So,
Oh, wait a minute.
so the staff recommends that the members vote to authorize the general manager to award contract 19-2022-C, motor vessel conversion, freight deck extension, associated machinery overhauls, dry docking and overhaul services for the MV Monomoy to the lowest eligible and responsible bidder, Alabama Shipyard of Mobile, Alabama, for a total contract price of $17 million. The staff further recommends that the members vote to authorize the general manager to take all necessary and appropriate actions to execute and carry out the agreement with Alabama Shipyard LLC and to fulfill the authority's obligations thereunder.
Jim, you had your hand up.
You're muted.
Muted. You're muted.
Thank you. One of these days I'll get used to this. I had a question. Do you want me to pose the question before or after we move on this?
Say that again.
Shall I ask a question now, or would you rather wait it until we have a motion?
I'd like to ask the questions before we vote.
Thank you. The question I have, and this is probably for Mark, and then it would probably tie back to Mark Rosum, so I can get all three Marks involved. I applaud the fact that we're going from 0 to tier 4. I think that's a great move, and it reflects reality and a concern for the environment. One of the issues that's been raised to me by people interested in this is we're basically making a more efficient diesel operation in terms of particulate than we are doing more to eliminate diesel in the steamship fleet. So my question then is, what are the financial impacts of looking at this enhanced conversion versus making this vessel into a hybrid?
I'll talk a little about that, Jim. When you look at the OSV vessel conversion study by Elliott Bay, when you're looking at CO2 reduction, you're looking at pretty much a 9%, I believe, across all other options there, from peak shaving, 50% battery, PTO, tier 4, and using the existing engines to really get to where we would need to be. You're almost looking at an all electric option on that to get down. I believe the study showed 200 metric tons of CO2 down from 5,300 with the tier 2 engines. So part of that would be the engineering, the cost, the lead time to do those type of systems. I think for the steamship going forward, I think this is the right application for what we're doing with these conversion of these supply vessels. And then when we look at doing future conversions during midlives of these, that would be a time to take a look at the technology, see what's available, and see if we would want to go with a hybrid solution at that time, or some other solution. I will say that we're also, as it becomes available here on the East Coast, We will explore using, alternative diesel like R99 that's used out in California by car, and like San Francisco Bay ferries. So that's, right now, I think this is the best option to move this project forward. And it's a step. I think, you know, we need to make steps here and we need, you know, as we're moving down through this process, I see us, you know, and technology improving, I see us being more aggressive in how we go. But I think right now, like going to tier 4, these would be the first tier 4 engines that the authority has used. We would be looking at doing these type of upgrades on the Barnstable and Aquila when we would go into their overhauls of their engines, and at that time we would look also at hybrid technology for that. And then I believe, you know, when we look at our long-term planning and what we have for a capital budget, you know, I believe it was 20, we set aside funding to do the engineering and design on a ferry, that a hybrid ferry, and that you know, we would be looking at construction of that sometime in the next, I believe, what, 28 mark. 2028 for that. So I, you know, I think we're on the right track. I think this is a good first step.
Thank you.
For hybrid. I might have to go look at that again.
We're looking up in the meantime what the LA Bay cost estimate was for the mild hybrid.
For a mild hybrid, you're looking at a capital cost. No, on the Martha's Vineyard life cycle gear. I think it's 21,139. Yeah, I believe it's about 21,139 for peak shaving and 23,500 for 50% battery.
Thank you.
Okay, just for a couple of comments for myself, can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
I think this opportunity to have a tier 4 engine in this thing is overwhelming, especially if in fact this is available for conversion, you know, on our other 2 vessels. It's a far sight shorter dollar-wise than it is to go, you know, pure electric. I mean, it doesn't stop with a ship, because you gotta have some charging stations in along the way. And, you know, the price of batteries and everything else, it's just phenomenal. And in a tier 4, you know, it is almost equal, you know, to a pure electric. Am I correct? I don't know what the exact distance is. I don't think in metric tons, I think in gallons, and I understand that, but in any event, I am just excited you can do that, and I didn't know they had kits that would fit these engines. But that's a huge factor in my way of thinking, because I don't know how in the world we're ever gonna get and convert 10 vessels, you know, to electric, and also the terminal costs of each yard and slip and things is just, I mean, you're talking, you know, close to $500 to $750 million. I mean, the figures that I've looked at. Anyways, that's my comment on this, but I am just really excited that it has this. So other than that, for the package, it's very well laid out, understandable. Obviously done, you know, a yeoman's job of putting this whole thing together, and I know it didn't come easy. But we have comparators, we have people that have looked at it, other people, you know, assessing the the industry and as a whole. And the 18% increase speaks volumes for what we went through with the constable and the quinter. So it answers a lot of questions in my way of thinking. So other than that, are there other comments, questions, concerns? And we'll bring it to a vote.
I'd like to move the motion to approve the recommendation of management.
It's moved. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Jim,
Milk and I.
Rob,
Randy, I.
Peter,
Peter, I.
Bob Jones, aye.
Thank you.
If there's nothing else, is there public comment, first of all? I didn't see anybody. Is there-
If anyone in the audience does have public comment, you could hit the raise your hand icon. And I don't see any.
Okay. Being that, a motion to adjourn,
Move.
I'll second.
second. All in favor, roll call. Jim,
Milk and I.
Peter,
Peter, I.
Rob,
Randy, I.
Bob Jones, aye. Thank you, folks.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, management. Thank you, people.
Happy 4th of July, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Take
that-
care.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, everybody. Thank you.